You are watching Fan Facts.
Hey guys, I'm Damien.
I'm Phil.
And this is Fan Facts episode 13. Welcome back after watching that Seattle game. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get started. Fan fact number 1, Mason should be starter going forward into next season.
He's earned it, man. Let's just look at some straight up cold hard facts. He scored 30 points the last 2 games, and the offense has barely been able to score 24 with Kenny or Mitch. And you just look at his pocket presence. He knows where to put the ball. He is distributing it to Deontay, to George. By the way, I owe you an apology, man. You've been playing great. And like and subscribe. And Freiermuth. So he's getting the ball out. He's earned it. He has earned it. Yes, absolutely. Going forward, he has earned the right to at least compete, I'd say.
Yeah, I'll agree 100%. I've always been a Mason guy since we drafted him. He was supposed to be the heir apparent to Big Ben. You know, sometimes it takes a little time for quarterbacks to develop. That's how it was way back in the day, before Big Ben, actually. You know, teams gave quarterbacks time to develop. We've stopped doing that. I own the NFL. The NFL stopped doing that. They've changed the model. But the model really is that most quarterbacks will take some time to develop. And I think that the Steelers have given Mason a lot of time to develop. And you're seeing that now. He looks like a great quarterback to me. He looks like he's cleaned up all those mistakes. He looks like a great quarterback. He's leading his receivers into the catch, which provides yards after the catch, which you're seeing on huge, 75-yard runs with Pickens. He's, again, pocket presence. He just looks like a good quarterback, which isn't to say that Pickett can't be someday, but I'll say right now he's not. So let Pickett ride the bench for a while. If he gets to be good, he can take over from Mason someday. But right now, I think Mason should be...
The major difference is the football knowledge that Mason has and Pickett doesn't.
That's it.
That's where we're at.
100%. He doesn't look like a rookie, and he looks like a vet.
Yep.
Because he is. And that's what the Steelers need. He has changed the offense completely. So I would love to see what the offense looks like with him having another solid offseason under his belt as a starter.
It's a message. It's about the journey. It ain't about the race.
That's right. You know, I mean, they wrote him off and he didn't write back. No, wait, that was Geno Smith. That was a different quarterback who made a great comeback later in his career. But the insertion of Mason has changed the identity of the offense, which brings us to fan fact number 2. The Steelers' offense has finally found its identity. It's a run-first team. Phil.
I felt like they found it in that first Mitch Trubisky game where they were very, they were sticking to the 1-2 punch. They got away from it for whatever reason, and now they're back to it, and I think you need to stick with it because that is who it is, and we do not need to have a debate about who is better. I think Najee and Jalen complement each other very, very well. One of them is going to get you those hard 5s, those hard 4s, and that's Najee. The other one's going to break off and run for about 15 to 20 yards per handoff. So I feel like all that's happening is the run game getting established is complementing Mason. The offense combined between those two is complementing our defense, where the defense doesn't have to be out there for 90-something plays.
Yep, it almost sounds like we're playing complementary football.
Right? And look at the time of possession. The time of possession has gone up for both.
And you can't do that without a run.
Nope.
Look, I agree 100%. The Steelers identify as a run-first team. To your point of Najee and Jalen, it harkens back to the days of the Bus and Fast Willie Parker. We have that 2-headed monster now that you can't stop.
Nope.
And because of that, the defenses now have to respect the run, which opens up the pass. And because we have Mason in there, the defense has to respect the pass, which opens up the run.
Do you know how many times it's been since we've seen play action work for this team? It's been a very, very long time, and it's been working gangbusters the last couple of weeks.
Yes, deep balls on the play action. I'm stoked, and it's all because of the run. Yeah, it's 100%. And I want to look at even just numbers. Statistically speaking, we're scoring rushing touchdowns, not passing touchdowns. That's a run-first team. Yep. We're getting to the red zone and scoring with a runner, like a running back. 100%. That's a run-first team, and it's old-school Steelers football. Yep. We don't see it in the NFL anymore, and I love that we've brought it back.
And there's fundamental stuff about football that never goes away. And I know I've been criticizing Mike Tomlin all year, but I'm the one Mike Tomlin critic who will give him credit. He absolutely understands that there are still fundamentals about football that you have to have. You have to have a great defense. You have to have a solid run game.
Yep. And we have that. Yep. And because we are a run-first team these days. This week the Steelers gave their team MVP to T.J. Watt. So let's do a fun fan fact number 3. Phil, who is your personal team MVP?
I know I know people love TJ. I got to give it to the guy on the other side. I got to give it to Highsmith. He really complements the defense. I think he is the engine of the defense. I think TJ is the shiny exterior, and I think Highsmith is the engine. He makes it go. He complements TJ very well. I got nothing but love for Alex Highsmith. I think he's amazing. I'm glad he signed very long term, and I think without him, you don't have to worry about the other side because you just put 2 guys on TJ and then you take your chances with some bum. But now they have to pick their poison, and I think that's what's really helped the defense these last all season, really.
Yeah, that's why he's your MVP.
Yeah, absolutely.
My MVP is Broderick Jones, the rookie. After they inserted him into the offensive line, that's when we started to see the identity of the offensive line change. I thought the offensive line started getting much more aggressive. Mm-hmm. They started playing with a lot more energy. And that opened up the run game. That started to open up. That's when you started to see the run open, when we put Broderick in. That's when you started to see the pass open, when we put Broderick in. Now, of course, it's been completed with, obviously, some time under their belt and the insertion of Mason. But to me, Broderick Jones was the catalyst for change on this offense this year. And I think that he's the unsung hero. So to me, that's my MVP.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Great MVP, by the way.
No, you too.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we'll do it again next year.
Yes, we will.
Fan fact number 4. After Seattle win, the Steelers' playoff hopes are alive, and this team could actually make a run.
We have to get through Baltimore. And another thing, this is just like the me giving Mike Tomlin credit show. The one thing that Mike Tomlin has over any other coach is he has the blueprint on how to beat Lamar Jackson. And the thing is, we're probably only seeing Lamar for a half this weekend.
Yeah.
So if the game is close and it's like 13-10 either way, man, we could seriously make a solid playoff push if we get in, and we could win this Ravens game. But it all comes down to winning the Ravens game.
Yep.
And if they get in, I like their chances because of who they would potentially face, and there is nobody in the AFC who's scary. That conference is wide open.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that this team, again, if they get in, and I'm sure Donnie Blaunock will cover what we're looking at this week, but to this fan fact, if this team gets in, to me, yeah, they can absolutely make a playoff run. It reminds me of the 2005 team. Not so much as like they're going to win the Super Bowl, but to me, this team, now that we're seeing getting hot right now, is better than the record. And this team could make a playoff run. Maybe like the 7-7 team couldn't, but this team right now where they are, this team I think can make a playoff run. And even if we win one playoff game, to me, that's a huge victory. It shows so much improvement, and it shows that all this hard work has finally paid off.
And nobody thought that 2005 team would win any playoff games, especially
That's right.
the one against Indianapolis. I remember
That's
all
right.
the talk.
So, yeah, I think they can make a run.
Absolutely.
But it all starts with winning this Baltimore game. Mm-hmm. And for more on that Baltimore game, we have back this week Donnie Blaunock for Market Don.
Thanks, Damien and Phil. Great show so far. I'm Donnie Blaunock, and this is Market Don, sponsored by Steelers Nation West and Affinity Painting. Dial 1-877 Ask We Paint, and you will get expert quality and service that you can trust on. Affinity Painting, now serving the greater Los Angeles area like Covina and the lesser Los Angeles area like Anaheim. And you tell them Donnie Blaunock sent you, you'll get a 10% discount code and as many Steelers 2024 day planners as you can carry, because it's already 2024. In 1996 apocalyptic novel Fight Club, the one that your nephew has a poster of in his dorm room, Tyler Durden robs a convenience store and manufactures a near-death experience by putting the gun to the head of a minimum wage employee named Raymond K. Hassel. Tyler gives him the old Detroit ayahuasca ceremony in the hopes that tasting the futility of his own death would motivate him to take bigger risks, as we are all on borrowed time. Mason Rudolph experienced the Detroit ayahuasca ceremony in Pittsburgh against the Detroit Lions 3 years ago, when he started out very strong but got conservative when it mattered. After that, he was cut several times and wasn't able to get a job even as a backup by any team in the NFL, only this year to come out of nowhere and be astrologically skyrocketing the only great hope of the Pittsburgh Steelers' playoff chances, but expecting to come out prepared. I say the Steelers as a team get over 10.5 first half points. Mark it down. And Mason's greatest quality is he has the ability to stay poised in the pocket. And the last two quarterbacks, they would run in his sacks faster than my wife on Black Friday. And I know you're thinking Pittsburgh doesn't even have a Saks Fifth Avenue, but she'll say, oh yeah, I'm gonna go stay with my Aunt Joanna out in Cleveland because I want to go try Corky and Lenny's in the morning, and ain't nobody driving for 3 hours on the night of Thanksgiving for a pastrami sandwich, and don't expect the Steelers to drive for 3 hours against a stout Ravens run defense. Najee's been the better back, but expect Jalen Warren to have under 51 yards. Mark it down. Well, the downside to being a Raymond K. Hassel in this world and to needing to have a gun in your face to live your life more fully is that you never forget what the guy was wearing that had your life in his hands. And although it's been 4 years since the Ravens almost killed Mason, once the pressure's on, I expect him to play scared. It takes a lot to scare Mason because this was the guy that once the largest man in the planet ripped his helmet off and tried to go all twisted T on the side of his head, and that didn't scare him. And then they tried to cancel him afterwards because Miles kept saying that he allegedly said a racial slur of which there was no evidence. And we may never find out if he used that word or not, but if he wants us to believe it, he better win this game. So I predict without a solid run game, he'll be taking too many risky shots on 3rd and long. Expect over 1.5 interceptions on a game for the Ravens. Mark it down. And the most futile part about this game is that whether we win or lose, our only hope will lie in Tennessee beating Jacksonville. And since the Ravens disgraced themselves by disgracing this towel, expect the ghost of Myron Cope to help us out. Although we won't get the win, Myron will give us hope because it's an upstanding tradition and how dare they disgrace this part of Pittsburgh that was made in Pakistan. All right, Ravens 27, Steelers 24, but let's see you in the playoffs. Mark it down.
Steelers Nation West.